over the last 40 years of me doing this kind of psychic work, I get to do so many different readings around relationships, and relationships are so hard to predict what's going to happen with people because people have free will. Something really, really unusual that happens for me a lot. I don't know if this is the universe doing this, but I will get, so there's a couple that have separated, and the husband will buy a reading from me and tell me how he's feeling. And I get very blessed because I get to hear deeply how people are feeling. They open up and they share because I don't have any judgment for what they're going through. So I will get, the husband will write to me about how he sees the situation. And weirdly, about a month later, I will get another reading bought, and it's the wife. And the reason I put it two and two together is the surname is the same, the pictures that they send are the same, but they don't know. They don't know that they have both contacted me. So I get to understand the way the husband is explaining things, and how he feels, and I get to see the wife as well. And it really, really helps in understanding what's going on with them personally. I've also had situations where I've had a triangle where I've had three people that are all connected some way in relationships that have all bought separate readings from me without knowing that. And I don't tell anybody. It's not my job to say, oh, by the way, you're somebody who's connected to you who's bought a reading. That's not my role. My role is to understand what each individual is going through. I've seen really, really happy couples, like everything's happy, everything's going really, really well for them, and there's no issues with their relationships. I've seen separations where one partner has decided that they want to do healing. They want to be alone and they want to spend time doing healing. They don't want to go looking for somebody else. They want to spend time on themselves. And sometimes those people actually really enjoy being on their own and decide that this is the life for me. I actually think I'd rather stay on my own. It just feels better for me. But then other times somebody has done the healing, and after a certain amount of years, they think, well, I actually would like a partner. So they are still open to somebody coming along. But then I've seen other people that will jump straight from one relationship to another relationship and do no healing for themselves at all. They just take any issues they've had into the next relationship. Choices, it's just choices. It's not a right or wrong thing. It's just choices that people make. I've seen situations where the wife has discovered the husband has had multiple affairs, and she has confronted him, and he has broken down and apologized and said that he will do better, and she stays with him. She stays with him because financial reasons. She stays with him for what they've built together. She stays with him for children, many reasons. And see, if you're judging us, if you're on the outside looking in, you can judge a situation, but you don't know how people are feeling. You don't know how scared some people are to do things on their own, to walk out of a marriage. So I've seen many times where multiple affairs have happened by one partner and the other one has stayed with them. I've seen situations where there was a husband and a wife, and the wife was having an affair, and she got really upset because her affair partner left her. She had no consideration at all for what her husband was feeling because he didn't know about the affair. He had no idea. So she was crumbling because her partner, her affair partner, decided that he didn't want to be an affair, not a, what do you call it if you're not a mistress, if you're the male, I don't know what you call him, but he decided he didn't want to be the third party anymore. So he left and went off in a new relationship, and this destroyed her. Now, someone on the outside looking in, you might think, well, that's disgusting behaviour on her part. But you have no idea what is going on in her mind and as to why she thinks like that, why she's in that relationship in the first place. We can't judge what other people go through. I've seen situations where a couple has separated. The wife left the husband for another man. She left him, she went with the other man. The husband was left on his own thinking, I need to work through this. I need to work out ways to heal myself. He gave himself the time to heal, and he got over her. He totally got over her. 8 months later, that relationship didn't work, and she decided to come back to her husband because she realized she made a mistake. So she came back to her husband, and he would sleep with her, and she would cook meals, and he didn't love her. He was just using her for convenience, and he was blunt. He would say, I'm just using her because I disconnected my feelings for her from what she did the first time. Now I'm just using her. The relationship is going to end. It will eventually end again. But he's got to a point where I'm not going to get hurt again. I'll just use her while she's here, but I'm not going to get hurt again. This is these barriers that we put up with ourselves. I've seen situations where a husband and wife are together and one of them's not happy. Let's say the wife is just not happy. She's just not happy in the relationship, but she's just there. She's there because of the kids. She's there for financial reasons. And in a way, she still cares. She does care about his feelings, and she doesn't want to hurt, but she doesn't want to be there anymore. And then out of the blue, someone else will come into that situation. Another man comes in who shows her affection, and it's what she's wanting to feel. So she decides, this is my safe point. I can leave now because there's someone else over here who wants me. I can leave this situation because I feel safe. I'm not going to be left on my own, unloved. Somebody over here is going to love me. So she leaves the marriage and she follows the path to go with this other bloke. This other bloke doesn't want her now. This other bloke didn't ever want her, really. It was just a distraction. He has been a tool to give her the confidence to leave. Now, this is looking at it on a spiritual level, not on a logical ego, because our egos do all the thinking. When you look at it past the ego and you look at it as a spiritual thing, he has come in to give her the confidence to leave. Because had he not come in, she would still be there. She'd still be in that, I don't want to be here kind of situation. Something happens that just gives them the confidence to leave, or the security, or the comfort. I've seen people meet somebody else and see their potential. Sorry, that's my dog. I've seen people see so much potential in another person that they want to date them, they want to marry them, they want to have them in their life because they believe that they can bring out that potential. I can look at them and say, I am the right person for them. I've also seen situations where a guy has had 4 partners. First wife left, second wife left, third wife left, fourth one comes along and says, I'm the one that's going to change this man. I'm the one that's going to save him. All those other women, they couldn't do it. I'm the one that's going to save him. And turns out that she ends up leaving too. Lola. She leaves too because he does not think he's broken, but she thinks he's broken and she's going to fix him. This is the potential, this is where you see somebody and you say, Lola, shh. This is where they're looking at somebody else and saying, I'm the one that's going to change them. I'm the one that's going to fix them, which is just the ego. That is purely ego, thinking that you have the power to change somebody else and you're the one that's going to be magic in their life. Because when you get in that situation, you find out you can't change them. It was a lovely saying the other day that when you meet somebody and you get to know them in the first couple of months, accept that is how they are. Accept that they're going to be exactly like that in 25 years' time. Don't look at somebody and think to yourself, I can change them. I can bring their potential out. I can make them different. When they're around me, they're going to be a different person. Because that expectation will fail all the time. It fails. When you can just accept people at the level that they are, for who they are, if they happen to grow with you, that's fantastic because you haven't expected that. If you happen to grow yourself and they're growing along with you, that's never been expected. That just happens. But if you grow and they don't, you do grow apart. It's just the way it is. I have seen the dynamics of, I see people happy on their own. I see people that can't stand being on their own and they have to have somebody. I see people absolutely obsess over other people. I had a run of readings there from this one person for years, absolutely obsessed with somebody that never gave her the time of day, never responded to her. But she had it stuck in her head that I feel this incredible connection to him. It has to be him. And that went on for years. I reckon it was for 4 years. It just kept going on and on and on. You couldn't crack this. You couldn't get through to just let it be. Just let it be. She was obsessed. What happened? She met somebody else, moved on with somebody else, totally forgot about him. Yet she diverted all this time and attention for years into this one person that was never going to go anywhere. So you have to ask yourself, why am I doing that? Why am I putting so much attention on this one person where it's never going to go anywhere? So, I see it all. And I love when I get to have the husband buy a reading and then the wife buy a reading without them knowing, because I hear both sides of a story. Normally, I'm only hearing if it's only one person that's telling me what they want in their love situation, I'm only getting your interpretation. So when I can get the other interpretation as well, it makes so much more sense as to what's going on with this dynamic. But yeah, I have bisexual relationships, homosexual relationships that I deal with, that when people contact me, I have people that are grieving and think they'll never find love again. I have people that grieve and one particular man who lost his wife, I think he grieved for 3 years. There was not a conversation that I could have with him without him talking about his wife. He just couldn't live without her, and he ended up passing away a few years after she died. He just couldn't live without her. So I think the purpose of this is we all feel different things. We all want for different things. It's not one size fits all with it. They're just so complex. Relationships are so complex. And when you're buying a reading, it's not easy to just say, oh yeah, you're going to end up with that person, because we have free will. Like the guy that was just using his wife when she came home again after being away. She left him and then she came back. He, at that very point, could have said, no, I don't want you back. Or he said, yeah, come on back, and he just used her for sex. You see, you can't work out what is actually going on in somebody's mind. You can't know. Even they could tell you, but you never actually know, because they don't have to tell you the truth. So yeah, it's very, very hard reading relationships because of the free will that we have and the choices, and because of what we're feeling. What we are feeling about ourselves determines how we react and how we act with other people. So